yet. Ooh, finally, I get to take a little walk. Walkity walk, walk. Whoa, 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 no, it's too cold. No, let me back in, let me back in.
Hi, I'm Sean.
I'm Max.
Therapist. Hi, Max.
Nice to meet you.
And who's this?
This is Cooper.
Oh, hi, Cooper. You coming in for the appointment today too?
He's my moral support.
He's your moral support. So what, Max? What brings you in today?
I'm trying to integrate a healthier and more kind of simultaneous lifestyle where I can also walk Cooper, take care of him, but also integrate exercise, you know, just get my muscles in a healthier place.
So we're talking like you have a couple big things that you do that seem like pretty high level, like Ukrainian dance, which I've seen, but I don't completely understand like the load of it for your system and that. And it seems like very high energy and high output. And then you have the film side of it, which is almost like hiking in the mountains, it seems like, for 20 hours with a big load on your back. And so I want to hear from you, maybe and see from you a couple of the movements that might be involved in that. And sort of anything like at the end of a long day, what does it feel like to you?
Hello. I'm Max. Nice to meet you. And yeah, this is Cooper.
Come on this way and we'll just do a little bit of an assessment on him.
So what room are we in now?
This is called the Zen Den. This is where we do all of our modalities to help with any pain and inflammation, things like laser therapy. My name's Dr. Rosita McKenzie. I'm a veterinarian and I've done extra training in chiropractic, acupuncture, and physiotherapy for pets.
I would imagine that it's a lot more intricate and honestly complex than working on humans. Because these guys just, they never sit still, and it's probably just a whole different world to that.
It's a whole different ballgame. Some things definitely work in our favor, like the fact that they have less mental stuff in the way, if you will, so they're not as worried about what I'm doing to them. They definitely process the treatment a lot quicker than people do. But then with them being on 4 legs, there's lots of pressure going through their spine. They need to have good core muscles to help support the spine. I noticed Cooper has a little bit of a rounding of his spine there, so there's some stretches we can do to help stretch and lengthen out his spine.
One, 2, 3. That was easy, man.
11, 10, 9. Oh yeah, fight through 8, 7. Keep fighting. Breathe it out. Breathe and relax. It sounds funny, but relax.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
4, 3, 2, 1, and up. And relax.
Max, you gotta stretch those hips.
So how did you get into this field?
when I was little, there was one of my dad's friend's dad was a physiologist, and I always wanted to follow him. He worked with proteins and all that stuff. Like everybody going into university, I was going to go to med school, but then I got the national team field hockey bug. So I was an Olympian for field hockey, and I probably did that for too long. And so I was going to do med or physio. And in that time, unfortunately, we didn't know as much as we do now with training and body maintenance and that. And all we did was train more and more and more. And I broke down a lot, had a couple of knee surgeries, some big injuries. And I met some of the best people I've met in my life were the physios that work with us.
I was fortunate enough to be able to find an area of veterinary medicine that I'm extremely passionate about, and so now I do get to do what I love every single day. Another barrier to entry in this field is how competitive it is to get into veterinary school. There's only 5 vet schools in Canada, and they localize it to whatever region you're in. You're only allowed to apply to 1 vet school. So at the time when I was trying to get into vet school, the only one I could apply to was in Saskatoon, and they would only accept 15 people a year from BC, so it was highly competitive. Measuring tape, so I'm just gonna see if he's got any differences between one side or the other to see if he's been favoring it at all.
You're just gonna raise your hands up as high as you can. Did you feel any pinches or blocks, or does it feel the same side to side in it?
A little bit of...
Looks like you're running away from the right shoulder.
Yeah, my right shoulder is the one I dislocated.
Some of the things that I've noticed that I think we could work on, I think the big one is education. We all, have some kind of innate desire for companionship, and often that comes out in whether it's adoption or purchase, but it comes out in, linking up with a pet of one kind or another. And whilst that is a wonderful dream, I've witnessed many of those go wrong, and many of the sort of circumstances which, we're just not set up for success from the beginning. And I think that goes right the way from, elementary school up. I think there's a lot to be said for educating humans around animal behavior, around nutrition, around what it looks like and what a responsibility it is to care for these pets.
Can we do the other one? You roll over?
Whoa!
Boy.
Give me a heads up, bro. Never skip leg day. Mm-hmm.
Boy,
Look at that balance.
have you seen a rise in physiotherapy for animals?
Yeah, it's really neat actually. So I think it was probably when did I graduate? 2006-ish, I think. There was always sort of the physio for horses, because that horse racing industry is a big thing, right? And there's all sorts of stuff for that. But lots of, I think it sort of first came to my attention with a whole bunch of courses that were advertised for like acupuncture for dogs and calming anxious dogs and things like that. And so now there's a whole pile of courses like for equine and canine and feline therapy for animals.
Hi, welcome to Aqua Paws. Why don't you come on in? I'll give you a bit of a tour and show you some of the things we do here. This is our warm water therapy pool. So this is an underwater treadmill. This is the room that we do our land-based exercises in. So we've been able to take ideas from the human physio world and apply it to animals by using different pieces of equipment. We can target different areas of the body. We can work on balance, strength, and body awareness. So Happy comes here once a week for a swim. As you can see, it's one of his favorite things to do in the whole world. He really does live up to his name, Happy. He also gets physical therapy exercises and different modalities to help with pain and inflammation, because his front end is taking the brunt of all of his weight when he's moving. So it gets really tight in different areas, and we have to make sure that we stay on top of keeping it healthy as well. This room here, we call it our Zen Den. This is where we do all the modalities to help pets with pain and inflammation. We do things like laser therapy, acupressure, acupuncture. The higher we fill the water, the more pressure it takes off the joints because of the buoyancy of the water. And they're able to still build muscle by moving through the resistance of the water, which is harder than moving through air. So most dogs are pretty food motivated. We can usually encourage them to do the exercises with a little treat. Sometimes if dogs are nervous and they don't want to take the food from us, they might be more motivated by being near their person, their family member. So in that case, I would just have you stand on the other side of the poles and call him to come to you.
Yeah, because again, Cooper, he is a relatively anxious dog. So I think sometimes having me just around him definitely calms him down. But I'm curious, in your perspective, do you think that, you know, maybe a dog can find alternative ways to lower their anxiety and their stress levels? Is it associated with the health of their body as well?
Definitely when they're anxious, I mean, everything's tightening up, so that's going to put extra stresses on different parts of their body. So things like massage or training exercises like this can be helpful for them using their brains in a different way to help them calm down. We find a lot of the dogs who come here end up really coming out of their shell because they just have so much fun when they're here, and it gets them into a different environment that they've not been in before.
And 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, give me my treat. Yep, you got more? Getting dizzy. I'm getting dizzy.
Even the arthritis in that, one of my wife's cat that I inherited when we got married was a really old cat, and it got acupuncture, and it loved acupuncture. It made it feel better because they get arthritis and they get muscle problems, they get muscle pulls and all those things. Mm-hmm. And I think that especially up here, we have so many dogs that get injured running in the trails because they go chase a squirrel and hurt their knee or elbow or something like that. Wow. It's pretty neat. I personally haven't done it, but I certainly have had colleagues that have gone that route, and their full-time practice is animal physio, which is pretty wild.
Acupuncture is an interesting topic to look at from different cultural perspectives because it's been around in the traditional Chinese medicine for 3,000 years. And so when we look at how it's practiced in Chinese medicine, a lot of Westerners have a hard time wrapping their heads around some of the terminology and some of the concepts that they use. Traditional Chinese medicine talks about the movement of qi, or energy, throughout the body. All of the acupuncture points are based on specific meridians or channels, how they flow through the body. And when you're stimulating a specific acupuncture point, it has an effect on how the qi, or the energy, is going to flow through the body. From the Western perspective, it's more about how when we stimulate an acupuncture point, there's a biochemical reaction that happens in the body as a result of that nerve being stimulated. So things like opening up blood vessels, releasing endorphins to help with pain, and modulating the immune system are all parts of the Western side of acupuncture.
It's in your heart and ability to take that responsibility. If you want to have a cat, have a dog, have that hamster. Yeah, there's steps that can help you prepare and get ready to have the very best experience for your new family member and for yourself.
You mean from like traditional Chinese medicine versus Western? That's a bit of a heated topic right now. So
Mountainside as a geographic site has had a vet hospital for decades, but different types. Now, when I came on 3 years ago, it was sort of another rebirth of this area and of this hospital. And really the vision that I've had and the vision we put into place is to provide an emergency room and a spot on the North Shore that is open 24/7, 365 days a year, that when anything happens with our pets that's unexpected, that's maybe middle of the night, sometimes very dramatic traumas, hit by cars and things, other times an itchy dog that's keeping the family up at 2 a.m. But to be able to be there for those pets, for the families and folk that are attached to them, and then also to build a team here that is excited about that and, you know, willing to come in for those overnights, for the Christmas shifts, and really be there for the community.
A lot of people are under the impression that vets make a lot of money, and that's actually not true because there's such high overhead and costs of operation when it comes to running a veterinary clinic, whether it be general practice, specialty practice, or a niche practice like ours. So there's huge overhead costs involved with it. So it's not as lucrative as people make it out to be. It definitely is a career of passion. We do this because we love it, and it can be really challenging when people are critical of us, thinking that we're only in it for the money, because that's the last thing on our minds. We just have to make ends meet like everybody else.
In 2024, and moving into a brand new year, if I had someone come in and say, "Here, Lola, what's your wish list for the animals?" And I would say that we need a whole lot more funding, to take care of the animals that, well, need taking care of.
Some things that I'd like to see the BC government do to help pets in our society is to create a separate governing body for alternative therapies in pets. So right now, the only way you're legally allowed to work on animals to diagnose or treat pets is to be a veterinarian. It's all governed by the Veterinarians Act. But as you can see by what we do, there's a lot of other areas of animal health where we can help animals. So things like massage and physiotherapy and chiropractic. So if we had a governing body that could regulate those different paramedical services, it would take a lot of pressure off veterinarians to become specialized in all of these fields.
Just give me a treat.
Been really impressed with in our veterinary community is that specifically those family vets, they have a very broad knowledge, and they also have a huge amount of local resources, which, you know, whilst there are some good articles and videos and things online, to be able to find local communities, whether it's a training club or a dog walking club, or even, you know, breeders that are very good, to try and connect those people in your community. I really see that family vet as being the hub. The other thing that they're fantastic on, and it's been a real shift over the last probably 10, 20 years, is that those family vets are prioritizing preventative medicine, which means taking care of your pet in, you know, the broadest possible way.
Especially you see it as transitions. It's all the kids leave for school. What do I do now? Well, I've got to sort out the dog. I walk the dog twice a day and I meet my people. And then older like seniors, and keeps moving, keep active. Like that lady around my block, I think she's approaching, like, she's in her 90s, and her and her dog walk around the block 3 times a day. And it's really slow, but they walk around the block 3 times a day.
Means learning how to brush their teeth, learning when they need vaccines, learning what's normal for them, what they should be eating, what their routine should look like, who they should be interacting with and how. And I've really valued, their opinion with my own pets, and then increasingly, as an emergency vet, I daily, send my patients back to their family vet for sort of the ongoing care and hopefully preventing some of these emergencies next time.
That's all for today. If you can work on some of those at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really nice to meet you.
You too. Thank you so much for this. Well, he's gonna keep me accountable. Keep this, help keep this band around the house.
Yeah, I'll make sure he uses it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your help.
Okay, and I think that's all you need to do. And then if you need me, what great, but even better if you don't.
And how can people find you? How can people know about this incredible facility, the incredible work you do?
We actually have 2 locations, one in Vancouver and one in Langley, and we can be found on aquapaws.ca.
That's incredible. Again, thank you so much for this.
Nice to meet you.
You too, you too. Good boy, Cooper.
Good job, Cooper.
See ya. Let's go, Maxie. Yo, who's touching? Max, who is that guy? Stranger danger. Stranger danger.